program that was supposed to be a $1 billion investment in youth startups to create jobs has also turned out to be another spectacular scam. These debilitating conditions, in addition to high tax payments, high import duties, and the draconian debt restructuring program of government, are suffocating the private sector, leading to the collapse of many businesses and loss of jobs, such that 5 foreign construction firms, namely Contractor, Sino Hydro, Rolida, Amandi, and Via Build, who are working on various foreign-funded projects in the country, have laid off thousands of Ghanaian workers in the last few months. Ladies and gentlemen, the destruction of the economy by the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia NPP government permeates every sector of the nation. For instance, growth rate of the agriculture sector has seen a decline from 2.7% in 2016 to 0.7% in 2022. And I would say this is the harvest from the Planting for Food and Jobs program, which has received billions of taxpayer and donor funds. Similarly, the growth rate for the manufacturing sector has also declined from 7.9% in 2016 to 4.5% in 2022, thereby calling into question the impact of the much vaunted 1D, 1F program. Further, the growth rate for the construction sector has also declined from 8.4% in 2016 to 4.2% in 2022, despite government claim about borrowing to build roads and other infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the true state of our nation. It is evidence for all to see that boastful and lofty rhetoric is not the same as competence. Quite to the contrary, with the MPP, empty sloganeering is their way to hide their lack of appreciation of substantive issues. Never again, and hopefully so, should Ghanaians permit themselves to be tormented by a group of boastful persons who feel self-entitled to misgovern. Let us not underrate what it means for our collective sanity when a president has an uncomfortable relationship with the truth, constantly shifts blame to others, and conveniently avoid difficult topics. My brothers and sisters, whereas the president asserts, maybe because of the severity of the present difficulties, or maybe because it suits their preconceived agenda, some people are unwilling to accept that we are on a good trajectory until the arrival of COVID-19. Nothing could be further from the truth. Ghanaians want relief from the socio-economic pain and hardship visited on them by the MPP administration, and not flimsy excuses. Ghanaians want a government that will be truthful, even in difficult times, and listen to them in humility. Incontrovertible facts show that Ghana's economy showed signs of serious challenges even before COVID-19 struck, a point that was made by the country director of the World Bank, Mr. Pierre Laporte. For instance, way before the first case of COVID-19 was recorded in Ghana in March 2020. The public debt had increased from 120 billion in 2016 to 225 billion in 2019, representing an increase of 105 billion in the country's debt stock. COVID was nowhere. Ukraine and Russia had not even thought about fighting. Our debt to GDP ratio had increased from 56% in 2016 to about 70% in 2019. That is including the ESLA, DACHI, and other hidden debts. Before COVID-19, the debt servicing amount had increased from 11 billion in 2016 to 37 billion in 2019 and constituted 91% of tax revenue. There was no COVID, no Ukraine and Russia, and the Queen was still alive, and no earthquake in Turkey. Also, the budget deficit had exceeded the legally acceptable threshold of 5% and had hit 7.5% in 2018 and 7% in 2019. There was no COVID. Again, before COVID-19, the Ghana cedi in 2019 was plummeting in double digits, leading to the setting up of a 40-member committee by the government to investigate the causes of the alarming depreciation of the national currency. Surprisingly, the committee excluded the chairman of the economic management team, a move described by many analysts as a vote of no confidence in the competence of His Excellency Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia by his own government. In fact, per paragraph 61 of this government's own 2020 mid-year budget review statement, and I beg to quote, in the year to December 2019, the Ghana cedi cumulative depreciated by 12.9% against the US dollar, compared with 8.4% depreciation in 2018. Against the British pound and euro, the Ghana cedi cumulatively depreciated by 15.7% and 12% respectively, compared with 3.3% and 3.9% over the same period in 2018, unquote. Far from being the cause of economic collapse, COVID-19, in fact, brought the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government an unprecedented windfall of about 30 billion Ghana cedis to manage and mitigate the impact of the pandemic. Unfortunately, this was largely wasted on election-related expenses. This amount excludes proceeds from the obnoxious COVID-19 levy, which Ghanaians continue to pay till date. My brothers and sisters, according to the Auditor General, only 11.7% of this amount was spent on government COVID-19, with the remainder of about 18 billion being channeled into so-called budget support. There is no gainsaying the fact that the coronavirus pandemic affected all countries in the world, including our next-door neighbors, Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. Whereas these countries manage their resources prudently, thereby recording deficits below 8% and debt to GDP ratios of below 65%, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government borrowed excessively and spent recklessly for election purposes, thereby recording a disastrous deficit of 15.7% and a debt to GDP ratio of about 80% in 2020. It is instructive to note that in the year 2020, when COVID was at its peak, all our neighbors recorded a budget deficit of less than 8%. Burkina Faso recorded a deficit of 5.7%. Côte d'Ivoire recorded a deficit of 5.6%. Nigeria recorded a deficit of 5.8%, and Senegal recorded a deficit of 6.4%. But Ghana alone recorded a deficit of 15.7% because of the reckless election-driven expenses and wastage the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia NPP government engaged in. My brothers and sisters, did COVID-19 affect Ghana any more than it did to our neighbors? How come none of these countries who were all affected by the pandemic are recording double-digit deficits and high debt-to-GDP ratio of over 100%? How come none of these countries are recording inflation rates of over 50% like Ghana? How come none of these has defaulted on their debt repayments? How can none of them has been downgraded to junk status and have been locked out of the international capital market? How come none of these countries are going through a domestic debt restructuring? How come none of these countries are visiting cruel financial haircuts on their citizens, including pensioners? How come none of these countries are experiencing childhood vaccine shortages? To paraphrase Dr. Bawumia, how did COVID-19 jump over Nigeria, Benin, Côte d'Ivoire, and other neighbors of ours to attack and destroy only Ghana's economy? Ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is that the economic mess we have on our hands has largely been brought about by the reckless spending, excessive borrowing, and crash economic mismanagement by the Bawumia-led economic management team, and not any external factors as government will have us believe. The last thing that is required in time of crisis is a leader whose words ring hollow and who cannot be trusted. In truth, Akufo-Addo has proven Stephen Levinsky right when he wrote in his famous book, How Democracies Die. And this was what he said. Quote, "For a demagogue who feels besieged by critics and shackled by democratic institutions, crisis open a window of opportunity to silence critics and weaken rivals. Indeed, elected autocrats often need crisis. External threats offer them a chance to break free, both swiftly and very often legally." Unquote. During this crisis, nothing the president says can be believed because everything he has said has proven to be untrue. Ghanaians have come to realize that the claim by the president that he knew how to revive a dead economy was a scam. Quote, "We are a proud nation. We are not going to IMF," was a scam. "There will be no haircuts," was a scam. The promise to build 88 district hospitals within a year was a scam. Agenda 111 project was a scam. The promise to abolish road tolls was a scam. The promise to convert toll booths into modern, ultra-modern public toilets on our highways was a scam. The claim that there was a global shortage of childhood vaccines was a scam. No state funds will finance the National Cathedral was a scam designed to fleece the state by the likes of Reverend Victor Kusibuatin or Kwabena Adujemfi, whichever sounds better to you, David Ajayi, and Kerry Summers. Ladies and gentlemen, another deliberate falsehood peddled by the president in his infamous address was the claim that his government has constructed more NCA licensed fiber optic cables than any other government in the Fourth Republic. We submit that the total of 93% of fiber optic cables the president claimed credit for constitute the greatest telecom scam ever. At least the MPP must give credit to the NDC for providing the 900-kilometer Eastern Corridor fiber optic network running from Ho to Boku with a link from Yendi to Tamale and an extension to the campus of the University of Health and Allied Sciences. The 300-kilometer Accra-Tema Metro fiber, the wireless broadband of 119 4G LTE base station to power the Gota phone system. And let me add, the Ministry of Communication, the National Data Center, the Accra Digital Center, and the National Communications Authority are all housed by NDC constructed edifices. When a president constantly shows such blatant dishonesty, it crashes the accountability mechanism. My brothers and sisters, let me now turn to another very important topic, corruption. President Akufo-Addo's silence on corruption in his infamous address was very loud. It was as loud as his guilt. Evidently, corruption has defeated his family and friends' government. Instead of confronting this canker head-on, President Akufo-Addo has constituted himself into a corruption clearing agent, ever willing to whitewash himself and any of his appointees who dabble in corruption, even before investigative processes commence. The president's action and complicity have emboldened many of his officials, not least his vice president, Alhaji Bawumia, whose name has come up in multiple corruption scandals such as the PDS scandal, the shady gold for oil deal, the stolen rice scandal, and the famous appearance fee scandal. And brothers and sisters, President Akufo-Addo's misguided declaration that nothing dishonorable was done with the COVID funds adds to the litany of failed attempts to conceal the rot that has left many scandalized following the publication of the special audit report in COVID-19 funds by the Auditor General of Ghana. First, it was the Attorney General pretending to take umbrage to the publication of the report. Then comes the chief corruption clearing agent himself, even before the said report is considered by Parliament. How does President Akufo-Addo reasonably expect Ghanaians to accept as honorable the Auditor General's finding that COVID-19 related payments totaling more than 543 million Ghana cedis were made to various service providers outside of the Ghana Integrated Financial Management Information System in clear violation of Regulation 61 of the Public Financial Management Regulation 2019 LI 2378. How about the Auditor General's finding that medical equipment valued at nearly 250,000 United States dollars, which were procured with COVID funds and subsequently issued to some specific health facilities, did not reach these health facilities. How? Mr. President, I put it to you that there is everything dishonorable with the finding by the Auditor General that a company known as Modern Security Printers Limited, which was awarded a contract to conduct public education on COVID-19 safety protocols for students at an outrageous cost of 1.5 million Ghana cedis, has been paid in full for no work done. I further put it to you, Mr. President, that there is everything dishonorable with the damning finding by the Auditor General that cash payments totaling almost 12 million Ghana cedis to caterers who provided hot meals during the 3 weeks of partial lockdown were all retired with honor certificates instead of receipts, and that other COVID-19 related payments to caterers totaling 5.6 million Ghana cedis were neither backed by receipts nor honor certificates. Again, I put it to you, Mr. President, that the government management of COVID-19 funds cannot be said to be honorable when the Auditor General could not verify bills and validate dubious payments amounting to 37.6 million Ghana cedis by the Ministry of Finance to NGOs and private individual water provided for the provision of so-called free water. Also, it is dishonorable for officials of the Kwajo Opong Nkrumah-led Ministry of Information to line their pockets with COVID funds under the guise of risk allowances meant for frontline health workers. It is the height of cruelty for funds which were meant to save lives during a public health crisis to have been looted and misappropriated in this bizarre manner. Brothers and sisters, despite the desperate attempt by the chief corruption clearing agent to sweep these serious crimes under the carpet, one thing which will tarry for ages to come is how the COVID-19 pandemic became a corruption bonanza and a milking cow for President Akufo-Addo and his officials to cream state resources in the most obscene manner. It should come as little surprise, therefore, that the President has become a clearing agent who actually rewards unscrupulous members of his government with national awards. Instead of the President sacking the serially incompetent Minister for Health, Kwaku Agyeman, he decided to confer national honors on the minister's corruption and included even more corrupt appointees and companies to desecrate the revered national award ceremony. Dr. Nkrumah established this national award scheme with the view to honoring people and institutions that have distinguished themselves in service and sacrifice to propel Ghana's growth and development. Mr. President, our nation's founder Kwame Nkrumah did not intend for the national award scheme to honor criminality by cleverly sprinkling and sandwiching a few meritorious awardees among nation wreckers. This year's awards and the inclusion of these shady characters, some of whom are under parliamentary inquiry, can at best be viewed as part of the systemic denigration of our statehood. And I'm happy that some decent awardees never participated in such a scheme. It also reveals the weakened and depraved state of our nation. A nation where those who scrutinize government dubious expenditures are chased out of office as auditor generals, the Domelevos of this world. A nation where journalists who unearth corruption are harassed, intimidated, and sometimes murdered, the Ahmed Swalis of this world. A nation where members of parliament who diligently carry out their constitutional mandate of oversight and expose crimes are persecuted. Samuel Okujeto, Ablakwas, and Atoforsins of this world. And a nation where those who fight corruption are fought back and are even described as terrorists by the courts. The Anas Arimeyao Anas of this world. On this note, let me urge Ghanaians and the diplomatic community not to be intimidated by the president's unprecedented attack on the German ambassador during his message on the state of the nation in parliament. We urge all true Democrats to join hands with the National Democratic Congress to resist the suppression of free speech by the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia MPP government. And brothers and sisters, another example of the corrupt schemes under this government is the Ansah energy deal, which is stifling the Ghana Gas Company and may end up collapsing this monumental NDC legacy project. Under this corrupt deal, the government has decided to allow persons known to be affiliated to the MPP to build a private gas plant so GMPC can sell natural gas from our oil fields to them at 1/3 the price at which they sell to Ghana Gas, which is state-owned. The whole idea is to cream off hundreds of millions of dollars in unreasonable and supernormal profit into the pockets of the greedy MPP cronies. As chairman of the NDC, I wish to serve notice that we will vigorously oppose this glaring theft of national resources for private gain. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC believes institutions must work and the standards must even be higher for independent constitutional bodies that are legally clothed with independence to work independently. This is why we in NDC maintain that the Electoral Commission must abandon its intransigence and listen to wise counsel in order to save Ghana's democracy. Why would the EC insist on making the Ghana card the sole document for registration of voters when the National Identity Registration Law allows for the guarantor system as an identification mechanism? Why? In the interest of our democracy and development, the Jim Mensah-led EC should for once agree with the opposition NDC, civil society organizations, and other well-meaning Ghanaians, including the Venerable Dr. Kwadwo Afarijan, Ghana's longest-serving former chairman of the Electoral Commission and foremost authority on electoral issues, who insists that the guarantor system must be maintained in our electoral system. My brothers and sisters, another reason for Ghana's economic collapse is the expenditure on the bloated size of government. As has been revealed by our hard-working members of parliament, between January and September of 2022, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia presidency wasted the taxpayers' money as follows. The president's operational enhancement expenditure, whatever that means, cost the suffering Ghanaian taxpayer a mind-boggling 59.4 million Ghana cedis. The fuel bills at the president alone cost the taxpayer 51.1 million Ghana cedis. President Akufo-Addo's regional tours last year cost 16.9 million Ghana cedis. Tires and batteries for official vehicles at the presidency alone cost Ghanaians 15 million Ghana cedis. A cabinet retreat, cabinet meeting outside Accra, cost the taxpayer a colossal 4.8 million Ghana cedis. Payment for new vehicles cost the suffering Ghanaian taxpayer 6.5 million after Nanado had declared that they will not purchase any new vehicles. Payment for networking and ICT equipment cost the Ghanaian taxpayer 6.6 million Ghana cedis. An amount of 10.4 million was spent on the Independence Day celebration in Cape Coast. 10 million for Independence Day celebration. An amount of 4 million was spent by the Vice President on so-called emergency activities. Whatever that means, nobody knows. Telecommunications and internet services from January to September alone cost the suffering Ghanaian taxpayer a shocking 20 million cedis. And last but not the least, expenditure on office furniture and fittings cost 7 million. Further evidence of the waste of scarce resources can be seen in the many needless political appointees at the presidency. In the midst of the worst economic crisis in living memory, the president continues to make ridiculous and superfluous appointments at the presidency, such as the following: Youth Ambassador for Diaspora Affairs, Policy Associate, Chief Executive of Public Sector Reforms, Overseer of the National Cathedral, Church Relations Manager, Diaspora Church Mobilization Officer, Policy and Coordinator Analyst, Focal Person, La Francophonie, Technical Director, La Francophonie, Coordinator, Special Development Initiative Secretariat, Director of Special Projects, Manager of Operations and Programs, 5 Technical Communication Assistants, Technical Advisor, Zongo Development Authority, 2 Technical Advisors, Special Development Initiative Secretariat, Technical Advisor, Political Affairs, Presidential Staffer, NAPCO, Office Management Executive Associate, Technical Director to the Presidential Advisor on Media, and Data Manager. Enough of this disaster of a government that continues to waste the already battered public purse with reckless abandon. We demand an immediate dismissal of this redundant hangers-on at the presidency. In this regard, we wish to advise the Akufo-Addo Bawumia MPP government to consider the detailed alternative policy proposals put out by former President John Dramani Mahama in his famous address to the nation on building the Ghana we want, which was delivered in this very auditorium on 27th October 2022. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we in the NDC love our dear nation, Ghana. We shall neither prize partisan politics above policy, nor personal interests above patriotism. Therefore, we shall continue to engage our members of parliament, civil society organizations, religious organizations, organized labor, and all stakeholders to fashion out a viable and sustainable alternative strategy to save Ghana's economy and democracy. Saving our economy also means saving our democracy. So we expect the president to drastically cut down the size of his government to signal a new beginning. We further expect the government to be tolerant to dissent, heed the calls for implementation of the Constitutional Review Committee recommendations, eschew profligacy, desist from nepotism and corruption, sanction corrupt officials, and be honest about the true state of the nation. My brothers and sisters, it is obvious that President Akufo-Addo, who continues to revel in the largesse of high office, does not appreciate the present-day reality of the Ghanaian people. The president continues to live in his own world, far removed from yours and mine, that he fails or neglects to appreciate the true state of the nation. It is absolutely important to awaken President Akufo-Addo and the ruling MPP to the uncomfortable but frank true state of Ghana today. A nation of many living in fear of where to find their next meal, leaving many parents to endure sleepless nights. The true state of our dear nation no longer lies in flowery speeches laced with political chicanery that never accept responsibility for anything. Neither does it lie in the abstract theories that blame personal failings on events that have no significant impact on our lives. The true state of the nation is when a ball of kenkey, which used to sell between 50 pesos and 1 cedi in December 2016, is now being sold or between 4 cedis and 5 cedis. The true state of Ghana is that a sack of maize, which used to sell for 170 cedis in 2016, is now being sold for 900 cedis as at February 2023. The true state of the nation is where a bag of Gino rice, 5 kilos, which used to go for 25 cedis in December 2016, is now being sold for 185 cedis. Similarly, a tuber of yam, which used to sell for 5 cedis, is now being sold for 25 cedis. While a bag of sachet water, which used to sell for 1 cedi 50 pesos, in 2016 is now being sold for 10 cedis as at February 2020. Also, a bag of cement, which sold for 27 cedis in December 2016, is today selling at a staggering 90 cedis. And last but not the least, even sanitary pad, which used to sell for 2 cedis 50 pesos in December 2016, is today selling for 20 cedis. When everything is said and done, this is the true state of our nation, Ghana. This is what we feel when we go to the market. This is what we feel in our pockets. This is our everyday reality. A reality in which babies do not have vaccines, leading to a measles outbreak. The youth do not have jobs. The middle class faces imminent extinction. The elderly are being deprived of their life savings by the very government that swore to protect them. This is not the Ghana we deserve. This is not the Ghana our forebears toiled and sacrificed for. The NDC shall not be complicit in this mess. We are determined to work assiduously with the Ghanaian people through our superior, patriotic policy alternatives and impressive track record to rescue our dear nation from the abyss. We are certain, with God on our side, we shall succeed. Thank you very much, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Shall we give our national chairman another rousing round of applause? And while at it, Mr. Soundman, get ready to play NRI Assassini. Please, shall we resume our seats? We shall sing that before we leave the auditorium. Wow, what a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you would agree with me that address you just listened to reflects accurately the true state of our dear nation. Thank you very much, our national chairman and leader, for that brilliant presentation. I don't know what the key highlights were for you, but for me the key highlight was a statement the national chairman made that hopelessness, recklessness, corruption, and leadership paralysis define the current state of our nation. And then the one which I'm sure all of us will not forget as we leave this auditorium. He says, Ghanaians have come to realize that the claim by the president that he knew how to revive a dead economy was what? The claim that we are a proud nation and that we were never going to go to the IMF was what? The promise by the president that there will be no haircuts was also what? The promise to build 88 district hospitals within 1 year was what? The Agenda 11 hospital project was what? The promise to abolish road tolls was what? The promise to convert toll booths into ultramodern public toilets was what? And the claim that there was a global shortage of childhood vaccines was what? Thank you very much. Let's give our national chairman another round of applause. Now, I want to once again acknowledge all the media networks who are streaming live this very important program on their channels. In Bunu East, we've been live on Akina Radio, Winners FM, Zone FM, Atobu FM, Fabia FM. In the Western North region, we've been live on Akwaba FM. In the Bono region, the region of the national chairman, we've been live on Tyne FM and Estroma FM. In Upper West, we've been live on Home Radio. We've been live on Radford FM, WFM, Gulu FM, Tumpani FM, and Radio Mark. In the Western region, we'll be live on Sharp FM, Radio 360 FM, Empire FM, Spice FM, Western Radio, Royal FM, Adwempa FM, and Trinity FM. In Savannah, we've been live on Inkligi FM, Kasha FM, and Magic FM. Again, I want to recognize some of the leading members that I didn't initially recognize, leading members of the NDC. I see a man who is a mentor to some of us and a guide, Uncle Tutubiko Kwachi is here. A round of applause for him. We also have another leading member, Mr. Idianan is here. A round of applause for him. Honorable Sylvester Tete is here. Oh, and then we have one of the aspirants in the presidential primaries of the great NDC here. Dr. Kwabena is here. A round of applause for him. Yes. And then we have all of you here. A round of applause for yourselves. I want to specially recognize the team that worked hard to make this program possible. Recognize the contribution of Comrade Jos Taribawa, Comrade Stan Dogbe, Dr. Maneboama, my brother Felix Ofosu Kwache, Uncle Tutubi Kwache, my sister Ububia Dakon, and our General Secretary, Honorable Fifi Kwete. But let me especially, very, very specially, recognize the support the NDC Minority Caucus, led by Dr. Ato Forson, gave to this program. This program was made possible by their support. I'm sure we've all enjoyed the exceptional and brilliant presentations they have made on the so-called State of the Nation address that was presented by President Akufo-Addo to Parliament. Haven't we? They've done excellently well. A round of applause for our MPs. Mr. Soundman, is the sound ready? Okay, so before we take the closing prayer, shall we rise on our feet and sing Yenara Assassini?
Right, you're welcome back, and that's where we draw
our part. And NDC extra say on that issue very well. They spoke about it. And there are other similar issues. Almost evidence for we then they mention about the number of staffers in the presidency. And what chairman here, national chairman here, we taking the time every abu born yama bakum yenum and nine eso obu bo nipani bidin any positions a crowd or more like Bako is diplomatic then the youth ambassadors or no or just salary or just salary. Beyond that, then even overseer for National Cathedral said one also or just salary. That is another issue. We and also everywhere. I mean, there are several names of Obuboya. Clear say NDC say oh. In fact, so be anyone says Agrofo Ombewa me do Maisika. So that you're one side of Rizia. They're looking at the number of the number of Jubilee House, and it's clear, say Sankro way okay, so lawyer Chum is here, lawyer Chum was say lawyer Akwaba. Anyway, quick comments. Your reaction on their program, Moye.
Indeed, what was Kosovo Ghana, and then the Yakama and for another tea for another Ghana man for United. Or mine baby at Drukabra, wouldn't mean I be doing answer, and yet a minor ship. Say, any man that's saying a ship, a friend, the epoch of services. But you see, so we need any more for one team kind of cranning to the one. Not a money man, I am more. Ye dear avoid it, but I said to the beer, what you should kind of creature. So I said, but we know more as a one kind of criminal. Name no better for the phenomenon. I'm an email assisted as an imam and imam yet. I'll see you not to any moment. What the other finance me that catches a IMF deal by Marcha, Ghana, American economy will collapse, will crash. But to be honest with you, economy now crashed. And the IMF deal is not coming on this March yet. Yenya March, because a friend of China. China never
any museum, and someone that what PDS and you know PDS. Am I in then and even some other say get the fraudulent documents. Test table of no using no. And before you should document to secure the court. When you from the air abandoned. And you may be a course no. Under this government. Yes, they pride themselves to one person of corruption in this kind of this is the truth.
But quick one, Ansah about Mini Abiamasono, Deputy Secretary for NDC, National Deputy Secretary for NDC.
Yes.
Now, Bunny, quick one. One area, social media, and one area, for I think you fail to talk about punishing the NPP when you come to power. You did not say anything about prosecution. You didn't say anything about what. I mean, you just, it's like, I mean, what do you say to that?
I think that basically we have to go from one step to the other. Now, the reason why we are talking about the wrongs, we are talking about the wrongs because the wrongdoers must eventually be punished. So after all is said and done, when Ghanaians have made their mind and we bring the election to a closure, accountability is going to be one of the prime focus.
No, but people thought friends on social media, I'm for doing Komo, and they are saying that the NDC failed to stress on punishing the MPP. Prosecution.
Based on the economic challenges that they have inflicted on us.
But here you are claiming that Omuna Ama Baby away, so then you fail to talk about punishment.
DC is not in the position to punish. We are in the position to win an election. After winning an election, Kwabena can assure Ghanaians that one of the key things that won't let go is to bring the appointees who have been involved in financial practices to strong accountability. Is to protest for the removal of the COVID levy, because eventually COVID is finished. Ghanaians cannot continue to pay.
The
youth commander to have, I'm sure that he will put in his plan for us to focus on demonstrating to ensure that the COVID levy are Ghana poetry all of the transactions that they undertake. Currently, the Ghanaians are paying hugely as COVID funds, COVID levy.
Okay. How many you commander in Nkomo? Pablo, I say live on Accra 100.5 Citizen Show on Benya FM, on Tamale, Dagban FM, and the affiliate station. Tell them, Ababa. We got the ball, Halti, a bit of also. I think on the video, you see. But my go straight to someone about Deputy General Secretary about a COVID levy. Say mobile to one and I'm better mobile to
and come out, you know, and COVID levy in education charges will be allowed by any day for instance, the man of the e-levy, we led protests in respect to e-levy. I led that e-levy demonstration. And one of the things I'm going to say is, boss, correct. Now, I'm going to introduce e-levy. One of the things is almost like I said, COVID by, and they wanted a way around COVID, you know, to mitigate pressure on annoyance, you know, was the introduction of the COVID levy over the back. Clearly, COVID is triple. And then in India, you have COVID into my was a levy, the cost. So the e-levy, the COVID levy, two of the levies are unjustified. Because conditions are now on my e-levy and they inquire. So what is the justification for the e-levy? They don't say two boots levy, must sign the levy. So what is the justification for the e-levy? COVID levies, COVID levies are more the 2 years, and the COVID sector. We are not paying anything in respect to it. But we cannot continue to be engulfed in paying this levy. In the coming days, we will be telling this government, and why Ghanaians should not be forced to pay this levy.
Commander, I pity you with department and the NDC because you are dealing with the government. They don't listen. They don't care. So I don't know. Okay, so this could be level I don't know.
For instance, with when we protest on e-levy, many people believe that it was a wasted effort. But in the long run, it paid off. almost targets, almost set and I believe it was because of some of the protests now. Demonstrations may not achieve immediate results. Protests may not achieve immediate results. For instance, pensioners at TC Drama, no more protested about almost haircut. The results was not immediate, and the results will not be immediate. But I can say the IMF was supposed to have started expanding Musicano as early as March. They know that there's still a capre and buy. It is because of some of these engagements. The international media picks it, the international community picks it, and then it puts this government on hold and on ice. Over recalcitrant government. Abaya said in Aswadi, a Kufado I imagine say, oh yeah, Obia Sabi, but some of these things touch them. And yet, the money in respect to E-Levy. It didn't say E-Levy would have been successful, and then almost reducing from 1.5 about 1%. They would have been maybe doing 2 to 3%.
Sure.
Exactly. Sabi, Masu na Masu Ansah, and I'm in Amahu. Abaya Oba or Kano Cray Tremo, and Abaya Din Kontumpo, a training fruma. MVP Abaya Din Kontumpo, a training fruma. Then Magana Fonjo Mundi. The BB, and Medi says in a crowd. Ye Kaya Hubomu. Ye quack for day. The NDC Manukun assignment. It is not about the NDC, it is about saving this country from Sakronobo. And Abaya Sabi, at Tubotuma by Yinsem. Naya Fagana, and Sikwaya.
as we speak right now, you will deep hole. Your mom will deep hole. She said, approving obnoxious loans to make sure that they continue to deepen our debt. Until about last 2 months, measure you can say
okay.
Ubeti say still pass another a series of financial measures.
Yeah.
We are not going to support those measures.
Amount for Becca 7% or money be
Masa, or money a year, to say, Masa, who could check
really they'll go out there and tell them that you are trying to sabotage government business.
You have cut twigs, we can't carry the twigs, you are adding locks. You want to kill the people. You can't carry twigs and you are adding locks. Where is the sense in this one? So we are abundantly clear. They are out there to destroy this country and make lives so excruciatingly hard for Ghanaians that we can't send our test.
All right. So from
where the MPP there, it is a Danny Alfifom. Won't be say whether roof near the Sujina Hall.
Live from UPSA, NDC, True State of the Nation address on Accra FM, Penya FM in Cape Coast. Then we have Tamale, Dagbana FM in Tamale and other affiliate stations on YouTube, on Facebook. Yegusu, I will say, yeah, Yedim Komo, national organizer, Ura Yamina Baba Bekamensa, and I feel so, yeah, Minia Eduji Tamaklu, was I me lawyer, and also. Say in your drew now from campaign.
One we say and then national chairman, no, I put it to you. Now say, hey, chairman, what for law school account? I said more. I could do one man.
Anyway, lawyer, what's so many the answer? No issues about a year. Ghana card, whether Ghana card as the primary document to get a voter's ID. These issues, more legal team, more year a day. It seems that the EC, the government is bent on doing it.
Maybe.
Catch it.
Sebi. Where the man that's opening ya men wadaruma. Sebio. Where any bodam sem. Bodam. Make her be being so. Electoral Commission chairperson, Madam Jane Mensah. Ankasa the CI 126 in a Dubai. In on one a year yo. Oba na CI wo ye CI 91. Also on pe. No 22. In on one year CI 126. In CI 126 or the 3 documents: Ghana card, passport, and guarantor system. And yet a bro any bay in tia. Dentin and ne on no see I on no dia band is also on pay. Now wouldn't be the 2020
vote. My explanation why also on pay.
Jimmy Sam complete. Wouldn't the current voters register containing 17 million people, 10 million per in a UZ Ghana card. The rest a use your Ghana passport or guarantor system. Now wouldn't Jimmy Sam a womb? Mami say, Yanko use only Ghana card. And yes, sir. Ghana card is a product of guarantor system.
Okay. Matthias, you will need to be Obi and a guarantee more.
And so on Ghana card.
Matthias.
It was a guarantor system. No, the obey me using your Ghana card. Now on your Ghana card, the new Wabenya, but which means using Ghana card guarantor system straight away and by your voters card. And yet, Jimmy Sam. 2 will be a way to crime baby. Who do airport? The first thing a baby saw to show so your Ghana near day.
Your passport.
Offer our passport and your man you knew a woman with date of birth. What about data and who you are? Anna. Now, the constitutional requirement under Article 42, 3 things: soundness of mind, citizenship, and an age qualification. In your mind, inside soundness of mind, dear, a medical issues. Into 2 things: 1, a year, or age; 2, a year citizenship. On the face of your passport, you have these 2 things. On the face of your passport, these 2 things are prima facie there. And yet, and you see, my yen defense no. And yet, Jimmy Sam straight away.
But lawyer, it seems Abano ne party me is no man so move film. They'll go ahead and do whatever they want to do.
Sonny Papa. Sonny.
The young people
one who say, Embrebi Ba, Mem Abekasa Ewo Maimuha. One with J. Mensa. Swahun. You want airport residential. Intino Sebio. The things are Yenu Animal go through in the various villages. Onim. On ye nationwide tour that from the time our bay EC chair on call round Ghana da into Onim Ghana. Our offices or call EC offices no about back. Unim Donko Krum, Afran Place. Unim the Dija Islands. We have 4 hours to move on the Volta Lake to come to Donko Krum and so Abenya or voters card. What about them? Look, Okon of East. The baby atanko if in Yakaba Kubore. Yakaba. She in Krasi from Walwale Krako Yakaba. Hey, then. Now, when they look at this, so Narilugu from Gambaga, at the banner Lugu cry, now they share Nasia from Nasia at the back. Walwale Kra is no joke. So, if you understand the geography and the demographics of Ghana, and you might be all Uko school, I won't yet. Uko school, I won't yet. Now, when they will be a mid-din hoyao, Bossman Asari. Yenya in Krasi for ma. Sebi. And to be sana, Ukraina Obenya, sa, fellow feeling. Se ebia, Mami J. Mensa Noye Airport niya. Oh dear. Unime crisis system. Even Ashanti region, Edujama. She villages are be fiancé wa Bedujama. Look at Mankraso. In Krasi will be fiancé wa ba. Now they mean using Kranhaya. Dome Kwabena. Constituency district office ewo Abokobi. Obi or Taifa. Also if you umbra Abokobi. Wabodam.
Anyway, assembly, I had my memory, honorable. You got to go. Anyway, that's the way it says account. So, your observations about age media also and national chairman or the near Mount most more friend, the true state of the nation. Oil. Sir, issue we want boss, but among points what do you say to that?
Gold for oil. Gold for oil. No. Just one of amount for policies near the Monday bar. What you say, emun na ho. So I say, a buy we no. Say, oceana somu ye bibi na emun na ho. Na enye clear. Na processes and was Monday first for example, sanke was up through parliament because international transaction. Gold now, the gold no, and the aquacoto oil no, who trade on the international market. Constitution so choice be international transaction. I was a parliament. It's a day in Tina on one fact, so I didn't go through parliament. I'm a parliament and scrutinizing. Let us say, oh, sharp, we be now I got review actually, and then on my can say, or China, no man can say, and then no man can say, it's now, I need now. So there's a problem there. The solution is they should take the whole transaction parliament. Now, so-called intermediaries now, oil no now, near to me who actually say one woman actually, near examine at the end critical and who say, now say good or no. What the back work or ton gold no now what they are my third party no the oil number. How come why is that Ghana the same Ghana government now and ton said they ton now young fan conquer direct? I mean it's not very clear.
No, whether NDC and PP say I buy NASA buying the BBA. I said our free way to do it so this gold for oil, how do we stop it? Because if they are bent doing it and they will do it.
What who say a part of Ghanaians' attitude? What's your son going forward?
And then I'm sure SABC, South Africa.
Yes, South Africa.
A small party, EFL, they've been able to blockade South Africa. Small party, EFL. Over here, small, just say, you're 20%. But because it said citizens, they are active. So, we are proactive into no. Omoka said there's going to be a shutdown. There was a shutdown. I watched it live. There are two shops in the taxis. So
let me ask you, NDC, is NDC proactive?
It is not about NDC. See, that is the problem. The NDC has always been proactive, but Ghanaians, a little more, for want of a better word, reserved. So what I say. Oh, for example, you had a demonstration. Who was a Kwanama for agent of Kwanchania from Yatamachi, Bibi Amoya Tamachi, Yajimudi, what a monk, Yanamo Echo. So what I say, then the Padom Sano, no Mujina Kwancha. Imagine, say, any Padom, they move for crack, a Kayo, a choir. But they say, baby, I yet drew. Said they are near Mexico. Said their chairman, Ebu Boss, the price of kinky, the price of cement, the price of roofing sheets, the price of sanitary pad, a be up by bare 400%. Said they are the other corner. And was said Ghana Fujina, sorry, even including NPP Fujina. Because you could jump now, Kotadena, you saw a party card. It will be a year drone. All these a year agent and a year we came Ghana for a conscience, maybe a dinner drone, and Kuya. And Koyema NDC, MPP, CPP, and Obi or your man, baby, and to be your mamma pay. I was here sorry. You who said, baby, I didn't call. You're Dutch, there's no future for our country. Now, you know, it's really a gym. You're making sure I buy with the 2024. Now, near my was almost here at this time also. There will be a friend of collective voices. So I said, say, you're groundswell of collective voices. Nah, and then when you want me to be a Sano, Ansah, you're 2024.
Finally, General Dija Ghana for and your expectations from the newly elected national executives of the NDC.
I was saying, you know, you see, and I'm a kind from the beginning, say, leaders were, but every country gets the kind of leadership it deserves. It is a leaders, no, say, Yababeke Kasanse Munina, and that's the Ghana for, and Fano as responsibility, say, me cotton docona, me cotton iron rods, me cotton cement, and a mentor, some year, NDC, some year, Pipini, so I have a responsibility, say, and someone might you, me so make a country. Men so may active. That may make sure say a drew about one wrestle and I say drew baby near Fregana for so Mumpia Montina Mumay or Yetribia. You know idea who made Jim. That is where we are. But leaders leadership no, you're certain partner. So I said, the Babeka can some no. I feel young party members and the citizens of the country no. Near phantom and some may can no press. And no question of Docno to say no more every 5 cities and no question standing part to say a drew over 400% and no question cement to more a Koswana and no question of Jew payer who do Kofia and Swana and no question I want Trabana. It is a Sandima winning I no cry. Then it's a Ghana Nimbia who said near Kosonano. I was sorry now or you have
yeah, that's the Honorable Free and National Organizer. How right? I mean, Samson, a year or Ahmed Swababa becoming Honorable, I mean, say, see, and 7 more Bible Bosso. Now, Honorable Free and can be. You move by a day now, some up perform because I'm not for GD say, Moon fast some moon to our Muye. And with this current national executives, much is expected from Ayamo.
Yeah, we won't say, yeah, I think we have to use the alternate means of getting the news down because and I can count some of you, but they play according to the games via so and we don't also have control over them today now. Me buy Accra FM, now me say, this is a story, this is the news. I was on car, so I am putting in this crusade to say, why don't we use the other means and concentrate on few in the system? We should be able to identify them. Say, how do you the answer no kwa, the no kwa, one bekan. Then we use the other one The other one is the social media now. A great platform. And that platform, there was a year. For instance, the followers on my page, and also some media houses,
plenty.
And when I put a video there, people get to watch it. So, let me put it down there. People will watch it, including media houses, no more emphasis on mechanical.
But the national executives will do home.
It's something that we are putting it across, because the reality is that we can't trust the entire media fraternity. So you even trust somebody other means of getting it. And when the realities dawn on them, I'm sure that Omankasa will begin to reason up. And I'm sure Facebook, where now can story will be our boy and linking up. Now at the Afidia Okoya hitting he's now calling you back. So when he hits you, you will come back. And see, that is how we are going to operate from now. Because a quite be also. So we say depending on the money they are some wura or masuma. We have to do it because at this point it's forced. We have to save this country, and whatever means we have to use to save this country from the hands of the Akufo-Addo government, we have to do it. We are serious.
Among for you say you are not doing enough on the street.
Yeah, they are right. They are right, but we will rule it out. It's something that will be hitting very soon. But that is not only the only avenue. Sometimes before you hit streets, you have to weed around it, so that by the time our Baba hit, then clearly you see that people are eager to join. And you don't put your strategies out there, but I can assure you, Sir Angelo can do something. They will not be disappointed. We will let them have it.
Complaints or more easy after a friend say Yera the late Mills and Yera Mahama take over NDC, and he said it seems like anytime NDC is in opposition there is no strategy to heat up the system. Yanka said a new executive said Muntmingo Kontoka, Muntminkema, Haravan Kofojiri said we are strong men, and that is why they voted for you people. Then you're expecting framework. Said another call landing Kokachan people for an opposition said they should come home and raise the temperature of the country. Among Kofojiri said more raise the temperature.
One thing I can assure your listeners through medium, they say the Sedun Ketia-led administration will win power for the NDC and Ghana in 2024. That one I can assure you.
Are you sure?
I know they met me. Where a summary of the answer I will give you. Me explaining the further. But I am assuring every Ghanaian, NDC near Wutio, Ghana Fua Wutio, said the NDC led by Sedun Ketia will win power 2024 for Ghana, for NDC, and for ourselves.
I want the intimidation, Beba.
No, you can't bring it up. We are prepared. Let them bring it. Let them bring it. We are prepared. What we know is that we came into office to do one thing and nothing else. To win power, to save this country, to ensure that Ghana is liberated from its current challenges. And that one, we are going to do it.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable quick one. Social media, and people were complaining. Sir, Nekasa, the national chairman, there is no way I'll mention, say, when mobile boss is bar, mobile trim and that is what people are expecting from the NDC.
Memfa akwanya so na mentia etifo nyina me amenua ABFC ni and obu ne baby say you need to have a head before you can chew corn.
You need to have a head
before you can chew corn.
Okay. Who need to enter me we
eburu ente ye buy a base say ye buy a base no Bobie the first thing is e was say you win power na Ansah there na be ya e be win power Yemfandi wechi a usi agroye de. Akufo-Addo breu. Se wo share lamentations se wo kwa asasi radio.com. They almost say they are in a critical week. critical week because normal it was a moyeno as a bino omuntiminye. So clearly, say a bina casa tia kunyasuno esin huchina. Let's say Odia Beka. But you find the wechia usi agree a ban who a cherno. And I say, National Executive MPP for shall say Ansah bow. Yeah. Me no work as by 13th May. Now you are two from branch elections to flag bearer election. You are ready for battle 2024. MPP for now a shall say, oh no Marco Congress, special Congress, Ako way, aye branch, aye way no, Bobie, compare the two. Ya best how muho. Yen NDC for no aba besan omo. Omo ankasa kwa enya nche date ya, enya date ya. Omo de bayo omo primaries, MPs primaries, let alone to do flag bearer elections. And it's how compare the two now. A juma die, ye national executives, ye party penny for mu ye juma. Ye MPs insu ye juma. Grassroots asema okay, Bobie in politics, and ye bibia na to go. What they can say every no. Now we beside me national organizer say say national organizer et me visible say on social media say me we can make us our feeling. Okay. National organizer car na ma hu engine. David. Kwabena Kwabena. Kwabena engine dia na si wodrosu. It means any fine fancy. You understand? Yeah. So more opposition and answer more power. Bobie say ye di fancy no to ye nye adwuma no. You need to work submarine. Who opposition is ka enti ukoye we ya na we yiweni ukoye adwuma ha na we yiweni enti aban na otie akonwa so no onim adwuma opposition no oye. I don't want to compare onim kwa MPP for fast of 2 year akonwa so 2016 Otiko Jaba Otiko Afisa Jaba okọ village to village. Miti Parliament no na mi constituency. Miti Parliament no that is how national executives work. In India, who can say grassroots to see omunya abutre. So omu too much. It means the work is not being done. Okay. So papa ni so onko do wefu no hunu ofia. There's a wanko. Before you realize the job is done. By clearly speaking, and your mama kwana the end is the back of sure. John Nama, no be nam, send the John Wokmasi. Yeah. I said, don't get Yawaha. No, we Nama. Binamuna transi, I put two way together. Yeah. So it tells us that the party, the system is working. Yeah. And this is what will bring us to power. But we shall come a digana for near before a show mono. Komunya Yanka, Trankwa, Yanko Flasta, and then Kase, and this is about power. And then Nama, you don't see clearly what it is about. I believe, say, baby, ayako drew any juma yaye any the national executive name former minister former appointees it tells that the NDC is ready for power and then Miami bad them hey to be quite you ha Kwabena do for ha or Manebu ama ha Sylvester Teta ha we ha Kofi Ato ha you could see the spirit of the party in the room. You can't political no more positions in Kwao. The party no say omuni positions omu party ye bibi no munyina eba. It tells you say the party is heading towards something. And then eno na wo hu no hai. And politics ye ntimi nyo bi free mo. David. Da say ye say no free mo pene say yanya. Ye pushu na wo ba. Ye pushu na wo ba. Clearly I believe that any J wo ho and that's wo ho. Amen. Any J wo ho and that's all.
100.5 Accra FM. 100.5 Accra FM. 100.5 Accra FM. 100.5 Accra FM.
Okay, all right, so that's it live on Accra 100.5 Benya FM in Cape Coast. Then we are on live Tamale, Dagban FM. Then on Facebook, Accra FM and CTV. So, Dr. Manebo Manso Ewa say, Peter Otukono, so Dr. Peter Pama Otukono, then Dr. Omane. But Unim, a tearful, Million Penny for me.
We know more than Sasha, no more doctor. I'm just a million days. Associate doctor. We know one of our associate doctor. And then what can Salma? What can Sadia? Associate doctor. Bobie Ansah.
Anyway, the Dr. Peter, pick one atmosphere. No, who say Jumadia, Mudia, who say,
say, a Dakasia, a Magana. Na say, we share a nipa, a bo, a peso, a hanomo, and every year. A mammy, a resimu, a mammy, our Casronco. Emma, a Teresa NDC, home no etiase. Na Sabu and I'm quite passo. Because say Ushe Jumedia Edi Wahana is a true state of the nation's address. Not just a Kufuado any na buying Frakadam, na the 12 pounds were our modi or mine and Mamunam. So na woman can crunch and no more can say a miano, names and flower mobeka ya, Elman Fakwemu, Nasabio, woman Teresa or more Tima or door, any near Quasuntina say, Yabeka crunch regana for Bronica say. Ekufuado ne na ban no have lost touch with reality. It is said you previous and wa wonam kwa so awudi gobe. Wu ko gina kwa ho ato wa ache, wu ko dwem wu tonto su tomo money to ko obi erefua. President Ekufuado nim bra wu komu.
But there is one question on the street. NDC, what is the alternative?
Etino alternative no ya say ehunu bi pen e na abo asiriwa e ne background we na ni eto nchen. Ya hu ya so Ansah. Ya so President Mahama mamu NDC mamu. Ya hwe ene pa NDC de baaye. Ekwan a ye bu wo man no na inayesa na Ekufuado ene ne mpamfo be di Ghana fon trobe daada wo mo ekogi akunya no. Ena wo mahu omunim ye betimi aye ena omuhu Ekufuado de. Eti no sisi ano penso a ye duru ne se ye beka ye hu abom aye adwuma as a 2 million na from see a befa. But Ghana for nyina so twa mani ento bia mu suhwe NDC yo mu suhwe President Mahama eti na kwan bia so esi etimi make sure say ye be ma President Mahama abe kra franka ama NDC said ye be ya 2024 didi a Ghana for wo no mu and power ye ma Ghana no wo be gina so na wo mo de ato ama ne etimi ayi sa aban we afiri ho mene wo ka say Yenim say 2024 the Ghana force gyina na wie. But near occupy SCA anu nti ye yes adwumadie kase we true state of the nation's address ne say ye dwen kwan ya say the project kankan wo man no that we have right. Ye tu anamo ed Yahu area boys, Yahu Madi or Madi. Woman who, but yes, also, Yenim said, you won't pay the 4 minimum the I be paying for. I will make me a year, man. But Yaba the we are not economic not to Ansah 1979 cool this year. No, yes, is near worse than that. Told him that. And then many will say, that to GDP ratio, not just say, Accra FM. Now, what the GDP? Or mine now
100.5.
There we are to Japan Sampa. There will be a friend GMP, gross national product. Or mine, yeah, Kasa, look, I want him. Near Fanto Tokaya, they will say. Yeah, that to GMP, no, a bit best 150%, 160%. Who goes a bed some crap? Because I don't actually say, well, my says, see, and so the worker, near to 2 years, year. Near Becassa, it may get to a point in time. In the next first half of this year, say, yeah, IMF program. Not Yankeya. Sebium previous. It's one electricity crowd provision a bedding. Metro,
Messi about I don't have the microphone. Doc, Mammy Busao, maybe say no, me who atmosphere be, and it was very touching. normally no ya na especially MPP say obi no obi nya adwuna bon say afa di party no organize program a ebi ko ebi nso. And I saw Dr. Dofo. I saw other lady members. I'm like, oh, okay. So the NDC is moving in one direction. Who's that picture? How did you feel? I don't know. It is we work together. Behind the scenes, we talk. Juma, Ebumu, the Chagin, Intino, Ebia. Akoye MPP and I akoye ntokasemu omo party headquarters to trasemu no money adiade and no should share leadership a ashedun katia edi yanim. I'll give you an example. Okay. Nanka wasenka omampani Mahama file nomination and I'm afraid, say, I'm on pressure. And every
100.5 FM. 100.5 FM. 100.5 FM.
Come and say. Elections.
What 100.5 FM. 100.5 FM.
I don't know what is the movie. Almost just happened to be there. That's how you do that. They are not interested. After some President Rollins in my now for young stories. And then I want to be like a morning. Because it was like, yeah, the name of the chance of the market. Then they know. But it feels like, how come they didn't know the party? President Rollins laid a solid foundation. The foundation now is free and and the beauty of that foundation is what I call intergenerational cooperation. Look, I am a dead. Me share number of
Give us P capsules.
Give it to me, baby.
Give us core capsules as well.
And man, memena coco yadie. Yadie, a mamma yam timote woman. Yadruno no. Manumbi, a mamma demme home.
Give us core capsules. Mrs. Simoye thing. Give us core capsules.
I give it to you, baby. You give it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Give us in no. A man need your babusiamu papa. Na bema can give us P capsules. And give us core capsules bomunum dia na enije ni ahode no
wa brudo
give us P capsules
Meme wadi ifiedu watwede kronkwa na efa.
Give us core capsules.
Apemfu abata wo mo manufuo ne nkwada wo ne ifiedu mienu nka ho. E wo drugstore bia motufo nko Give us Herbal Center, Teshi Mobile, and na Teshi Aduami. Phone numbers 0543 222 470 and 050 68
MD Ashusha sa ejedi enkrato yi mu agya to mu se eye. Me Mira, Nanda no Frejuma Baya, Sawaya Busase, Edia Semwa.
Binishe, Mafwakwa, Neko, Wenimu, Busia Grammy, Pedia, Media, Bobraswa, Minyabi.
And yes, Eclipse Collateral Management for Abamaye, Waya Prime Brokerage Service, Nano, Sadietieni. So, where Japadia now won't crata, which made in Kratani Beja Eclipse Collateral Management. Naswabisu, where Japadia, Ebiana and Kratano and Nimuano. Now, all Pebosia, yet the Won Kratani Yensi, Chiba, many pano Ejibosia. Etia a home for Swama one Kratani would be free. Hey,
Nessa 1 year friend, yeah.
Oh, and money how cry. A Sansa will also wear Japadia what they buy Yentino, and none a bank de beton. Wabra won't call the Hokra.
Not just a main crater that demono. A better me a mania sika, Wabra me Japadiano a honka.
Sapa Pepe. Ube Eclipse Collateral Management, Ewa Denta Pantai Junction, a Denta new site wa 0543-832466. Eclipse Collateral Management, think safety and decent income.
Unim say, Onipia can crow any bar, I am age necessary so. Now so Ecopa says to see who cotichima, and ye na sempa and a diabo. And then see an American for Tabia Hepa capsule, a diamount. Say yes, see ya dear pa and I do Nipediana Bossodia. Bobadiana num Tabia Hepa capsule. Now, boy, you Mamma mine when you see it near boy to my pack. Say, I am Tim and I do your free apostle. I'm a winning your Hoshia. Bobadiana num Tabia Hepa capsules. Next near ye near the fee, a finny pegianim, I'm a way from Adaho. Tabia Hepa capsules, a busso, our pharmacy soaps, any Hepa soaps, I will be a Safanina. And now, Fred, I am a true for you. Down 243 686861. Hi, sir, who ma a crown for? Who you're paying for? And I won't be in fear to watch here. Who numbi? Tabia Heba Capsule. Want to numbi.
With the new coach taking up the reins of the Black Stars, we are all excited to see what the future holds. Get ready for the cheers, drama and suspense in the AFCON qualifiers this month. The battle for sport in the next African Cup of Nations is on. Ayepinso. GoTV brings you the live telecast of the two-leg clash between the Black Stars of Ghana and the Black Antelopes of Angola on Thursday 23rd of March and 27th of March 2023 on SuperSport. Catch the games live on Go Football Channel 131. Ebeya Dankasa. Men like you, reconnect and now stay connected on star 759 hash to enjoy the action live on SuperSport. Go TV. Love it.
CD capsules. CD capsules. CD capsules. My body say.
What body and prince?
CD ointment. CD ointment. CD ointment. I don't swear.
What brand CD and prince?
Mo se wo pe immune booster pa. Se do nipa kwa no be wa adwuma. Se de sa. Simple. Kope CD capsules. Enyarewa mo bo rough. Ye nim so anante ana wa adwuma kakra bi. No abra ye so week bia.
Enya me ha pa no no.
Enya what CD capsules nkan. Wo ya so mde kope bia. Wo house wo twa.
Ena CD ointment.
Eye do tatahwe ada obenya ho no. Ko CD Herbal Center ya. Wo ye CD ointment ni CD capsules no. E wo Lashibi Sharom Sport. Ya e Ben 19 Junction. Na ko tie se general body pains. Nya ko todwe eye no ya. Na e ko na poso honam ya. CD ointment. Enti few days shrim e ko ya wonum di CD capsules. Shrim e ko wonum CD capsules no. Na wo di CD ointment so e massage.
Na menya ni nyina bi wo he.
Pharmacies, chemical and herbal shops. Dudwa for 050-5767-425 and 0209-682836. A pin for about a woman manu for no kwadawo ni fie dum yenu nka ho. FD ahwehwe sa edwadi nkra to mu ajatum say.
With the new coach taking up the reins of the Black Stars, we are all excited to see what the future holds. Get ready for the cheers, drama and suspense in the AFCON qualifiers this month. The battle for sport in the next African Cup of Nations is on. Ayepinso. GoTV brings you the live telecast of the two-leg clash between the Black Stars of Ghana and the Black Antelopes of Angola on Thursday 23rd of March and 27th of March 2023 on SuperSport. Catch the games live on Go Football Channel 131. Ebeya Dankasa. Men like you, reconnect and now stay connected on star 759 hash to enjoy the action live on SuperSport. Go TV. Love it.
Hey, say the Mako who Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. No, who could Jimmy, say, and Nunti Nomania Award, a word bestie, Obian Transit Emma Dumpemia, the Cassa, and Ansah Boya, the Encanon to them view.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. As I want to say, near Kuro Etuno, near Encan Ewananu, Obana Bemo Power, and Yarwankaye.
Nansima Mekase, and the Spana Code Ekayeno. Greenfield at Arumanti, and was our selection and also APM.
Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Our ultra modern laboratory and a diagnostic machine, sir. I should share the Pebiani Mwankasa. Greenfield Scientific Herbal Clinic. Our Nungwa Dogon, Estate Junction, last stop. There was 0243 983 906 and 0261 651 898.
Greenfield.
God is our healer.
Greenfield.
Your last stop.
I believe. 100.5 Accra FM. 100.5 Accra FM.
Baba Tele Accra FM. Yeah, mommy.
100.5 Accra FM. 100.5.
I made a very strong case. Okay. They didn't refuse it. They said, Honorable, we do it. I salute. They did it for Ghana at no extra cost. You understand? We need a government that is not interested in kickbacks. You think, say, if now you kickback be anyway, they would have been able to do this.
There be. And the honorable, but some of the issues across yes, but someone today how
the wide internet, you know, for some of the government workers, they don't cook their food. Good. 119 stations across the country. Bobie, and they say, yes, Green Book more accounting to the people to you can want some. G4P, government for the people, you call around country, you can want some. The Americans say there is a limit to which propaganda to me a saving a gun. Any in a way, say an economist and who values him. Nobody does. But the fact is, Ghana, we are in a hopeless situation. Senior, the national chairman, Emma Rehu, he said, Kwabena, and because President Mahama has said this publicly before, I can also say it. In 2016, our last Eurobond, the investors were ready to give us over $1 billion. Because he wanted to manage the debt of Ghana well. Oh. Over $5 million. Because immediately in January, President Kufuor mature 27. Oh, Ghana, you on found so be winning and answer on winning, but on make a provision. Bobie, my experience, President Mahama Edonimaya Ebini. Are you listening? Yes, I'm with you. One, he could have taken more than $1 billion. The investors were ready to provide it. And then election year,
On Kwabena be 2 scanner gum. Yes. Tell us. You know someone from Ansah. Debbie. Check very well. President Mahama can say for emergency situations in Tino, emergency situations, because he had managed the country so well, he knew say now 2 more oil fields ever on stream. Okay. It's the revenues ever. Okay. So he took that Eurobond to provide cushions, buffers, so that earthquake see the economy anymore, we can survive. It's or the 250 million no. Then at war. As a reason, one from Ansah Dabi, and none of COVID by a panel. That was the first funder. And people didn't Sakai. Kwabena Afe, what you are saying, Yentia. Yakasi JM is the experienced leader, the person who can take this country out of the mess. This is the vision. I think my job is done. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Doctor Otukono, then I will for answer.
Yes, Secretary Kwasi Obefra Wontuma TND na Matese Dr. Bawumia when I'm campaign self president. Yeah. Na eno de yomo party asem as to ne yomo beye no yomo party asem but we be say Dr. Omaneboama asem bi about yen aye adwuma we nyina wo digitalization na obi de bon ho sa ene say we digital man na first answer yes won ni say nipa no wo preset to abama no ka che so be digital man David was so economic wicked and you about the severe economy. It's about the same economic wicked no could than a digital man because economy no went to me and your man. Now a chairman Kabibi and Nientia said Wamube Casse a COVID-19 and my economy seen it as a fracadam and he said answer the economy in the as a crown na COVID beba no economy na start in Chiase. Yeah. Ama CD no agensem emomoti CD stabilization committee frankly what member committee na ono ba omia enka. Sa mbre ni nyina no mo se na ye tontoro we bi kwa 2018 tontoro we bi kwa ena omode na ye chairman of the economic management team. Enu na ewie mu we have a solid team. Sena e gracious.
Dr. Otukono, I didn't Ghana for expecting free more.
Near Ghana for expecting a NDC abine President Mahama abine enya hunu enya nimdie esie free small mistakes emu yebe better sa mistakes ni nyina ni sa hunu ni experience ni nyina no na yede abesom mo sompa na yede abesolve economic problem said ye be ahoto ni yedie ni nkoso be ba Ghana problem ye ka nyina ye se ye pe ade dokodoko akwa ahemfia eno ani ahwede ye hwe wo mo wonimdie no abenfo a wo mo wonimdie no wo mu betimi asolve problem na mai yembu se ehun se NDC ye wa abinfu ni bia no kre NDC wa abinfu ni bebre yembu sa se free time president Akufo-Addo bai ya wo bre nyina every step of the way anye bia abinfu na we NDC mu no wo mu ka ho asem wo mu kire kwan no mu kire kwan ya no mu tie ya na every single crisis bia ya komu bia NDC for ka ho asem ye otu ana mon pese na mo we se ne be wi o was you move from us and always serious issue. You two and ammonia say and Namoa to say the baby was for us and Kodo. Moa Bemuno, Moya day. Sa ne dia be free time started Bobie Yakan was a COVID-19 by Ansah na Akufo-Addo begins a hospital winya amana be yesa fracadam nsem say agenda 111 na eji say ye ne ekokache say Akufo-Addo hospital na yesi no kotom pagum na nkoye adwuma. Nesi hospitals ni bi kan na oba emfiensie no nsi hospital Ansah na obeka aso ya agenda na meboa me tro article yes President Mahama addressing fully how to confront this COVID-19 how to deal with the health sector Ansah na won who say we enokra na obe promises o ya agenda 111 be sine commander blog cry in you
blog back up it's you know akoye say sebio mpreduasa yenim ye how but ne ya wo mu commander ne ye awon hia wo saa de we mu ne say wo mu a wo mu tie akunya no so na wo mu create to me no betimi dia solve problem no wo mu nim the source of the problem obuso mo si o Ukraine Russia war COVID-19 Queen Elizabeth wuo no na ama international adwaman so sikasema ye basa na be kaye se wo ti ho na sabi o wunu nu ho na wo wankasa wunu nu ho na wo sere a na wo nye hwe sa dwaman so nsensem no external sector nsensem no mo se na ha ga na economy no entimi nya possible na sabi o ye pa ne wo dwaman so Dabi Nigeria fo ni ho Ivory Coast fo ni ho Benin fo ni ho Togo fo ni ho Burkina Faso ku esi ho still omo economy no perform better say because who now so you have not been able to diagnose the problem properly. The first step to solving every problem is first of all diagnosing the problem, knowing that there is a problem and knowing the source of the problem. It's now call hospital, answer now be doctor say test. Oh yeah, there na answer no amo edru. Ekufuado wo twa tablet, wo twa ayi pills, egumu pass woni mi yade kro. Woni mi yade osa. Enu nti na aban betimi atena say wo twa to mu. Or the levy ba no was a chess say oh me na so me boy levy na because said you previous aban no bomu ni bomu a bomu dwen e wa aban mu they don't have thinkers they are not thinking they are not akwes ye bo ampe formula bi ani wuri ya no abo sempa They are not thinking. Dr. Peter Otukono live on Accra 100.5 Citizen Show. UPSA and ye career ye jumedi e free ye dasibe bre Dr. Peter Otukono. Naname Jako ewo ye studio and Naname Jako studio obesum ewo ho edi amame. Se Naname Jako ho obesum edi amaye ewo Accra FM studios. Yeda dom ne mpempema mote yenka yeda mu nyina ase CTV yada amanfo amhwe on CTV yada munyina ase ene dom nyina yada mo ase bebre so wasomo all right so amejako all right Nanama Timenka omo ebesomewo eye Accra FM studios Nanama Jako Timenka all right okay thank you.